Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Vineri, as we call this channel. Stands for Crypto Friday. It usually happens on a Monday, but every now and then we have a special guest to talk about a special project. And today's project, joining us, is a project focusing on data and artificial intelligence. Guess what? Artificial intelligence is the new oil. So data collection market is also set to grow at 25% every year, and it's going to go up to more than 100 billion pretty soon. AI applications like voice recognition, computer vision, etc. will drive growth in the market. And one of the companies involved in this is Tada, trying to leverage the blockchain technology, but also community and artificial intelligence for the benefit of not only humans, but also companies, whatever that those companies intend to do with that data, but in a transparent way. So I want to welcome William and Andrei Bratucu, as always, the co-host of this, as we call it, Crypto Chestionar. Hello, Andrei.
Hello, George. Hello, William.
Hello.
A few words about our guest. William, if you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, for sure. So first of all, thank you very much for your invitation. I'm really glad to be here today. I'm William. I'm French. I'm 30 years old. I started working in the field of artificial intelligence through my study in Epitech, a computing school. And then I'm an entrepreneur. I started my first AI company in 2015 in the field of artificial intelligence and speech recognition. And thanks to my brother, we started different Web3 projects and companies. We have an exchange, we have an investment platform solution in Europe. And 3 years ago, we thought that we will try to use blockchain to fix one important point in the field of artificial intelligence. As a developers, when you want to create your own machine learning system, your own artificial intelligence system, you need basically two different things. The first one is the machine learning itself. The code, the developers, engineers, researchers, and so on will develop directly. And then you need a lot of data. And that data can be used to train the model, to improve it, and to test it. But it's really, really complex to get high quality of data, because first of all, you need a lot of data, but also data as diversified as possible. Let's take an example in the field of speech recognition. If you want that Google Home understand you very well, even if you are a man, a woman, with different ages, with different background noise, the developers behind that has to get different kind of data from men, from women, different ages and different background noise and so on. So that's why it's very, very hard to find really good data sets. And then we imagine a way, thanks to a mobile application, where every user on a community can download it and provide different piece of data that can help artificial intelligence companies. And that's our project.
William, let me sum it up a little bit so people understand better. So the biggest problem we face these days with artificial intelligence or large language models that we actually use is that they tend to hallucinate. So don't give exact answers to what we are asking, because most of the time they are based on a very limited data set. And as we say in IT and coding, bullshit in, bullshit out. So if the data that you use for training is not good quality, you're going to get bad results, and the percentage of hallucination is going to increase. So the biggest problem we face now is that those large language models need to be as compact as possible, as small as possible, so they can run on the hardware we have today. But the biggest challenge we have is how can we make sure that the data we train on is very good quality, so we get the maximum quality result out of this. Did I get it right?
Yes, totally. And as an example, we used to buy to find different data sets on the internet. And I remember when we started to create an artificial intelligence based on American system for American languages, we found different American data sets. But when we heard directly different sentences inside the data set, we heard Indian people who talk English. And then that creates some biases on the data set. And then our speech recognition system was not that good at that moment because of the data. Exactly what you explained.
Exactly. So I was actually using this technology yesterday. I was trying different solutions from different providers, and I could see, again, bullshit in, bullshit out, low quality from the biggest names in the industry. And I'm not going to hold out. I'm going to say that. I was expecting Google to fare better because their Google Cloud Console, their solution in the cloud, which is premium, paid for, I was expecting it to provide much better, let's say, speech to text than, I don't know, a smaller company. So I've been trying different solutions, like we use every day, almost every day, the script, but there's also speech flow, there's also voice AI, there's a lot of different providers that have tweaked their models to work well with, let's say, Romanian language. English is not that complicated, but when you go into dialects, like you said, Indian, or maybe foreign people like French or Romanians, when they start talking English, it doesn't sound quite English. So the AI is going to have struggle working with this one. So again, we need good data, but also that data that works in different environments with different users.
Exactly, correct. And sometimes we already have customers that come to Tada and ask for a language, but with a specific accent. For example, Vietnamese people that can talk in English. And that's really, really important if, for example, you want to start a company in English, but with Vietnamese people. So depending on your needs, provide different kind of accent on different people for different data can be also really, really useful.
How are you addressing this problem? So what's the technical solution you're offering? Because these days we're looking at the industry and everything comes down to how many scientists can you throw at a problem. Most companies are on a hiring spree. I was just looking at the other day at OpenAI. They're hiring like crazy, hundreds and hundreds of people just to go through data, make sure it's good, but also trying to leverage their own technology to improve on the data they have. I could see a lot of Romanians working, let's say, for these big companies because we have lots of smart people doing stuff in the artificial intelligence, let's say, industry. So where does Tada fit into all of this? Because we are all looking at the big names and see how they're trying to do things. For now, it doesn't seem that they have the ultimate solution.
Basically, we created two different solutions inside Tada. So first of all, as a user, when you want to register on Tada, we will ask you different information. Well, where do you come from, the different languages you spoke, your skills, and so on. A lot of information. Based on that, we have a really good knowledge of our community. And then we will spread you only the tasks that you should be able to provide with a high level of quality. So that's the first point. And to be sure that any user will provide the good quality, we created a quality check system. So that's quite simple. Imagine as a user, you choose a task to read a sentence, you do it. The record of your voice, the audio file, will not be sent directly to the customer, but thanks to our platform, we will send it to 3 different random users on the community. Those users will be the checkers, and they will have a simple task: listen your audio file and answer to simple questions. Do the audio file have or not a background noise? Is it a male or a female? What did he say? And so on. And if all the checkers provide the same information that what you did was good enough for the customer, everyone will be paid thanks to the blockchain and it's transparent, and the customer will only receive the high quality of data. And thanks to our system and thanks to the blockchain, that system can work worldwide with millions of users.
Okay, so that's a three-person party. It's the platform that gives the task. It's the person that does the actual task, and there's one more person that checks if the data was good.
Exactly. Usually, we prefer to choose a lot of checkers, not only one, but maybe 2, 3, or 4, depending on the level of quality that our customers want. But basically, it's exactly the concept. And it works for that, for the speech recognition, but for any kind of data. It can be video, it can be pictures, it can be a translation, it can be any content creation, basically. We have one data producer and different checkers. And we even imagine a concept where, imagine, for example, that the checkers tell the system that the quality is not good enough. So, of course, the data producer will not be paid, but we still have to pay the data checkers because they provide something really relevant information. So for each task you have to complete in Tada, you have to provide a small deposit. And as a data producer, you can lose your deposit if you provide a wrong job, makes sense, and that deposit can be used to pay the data checkers. And in this way, we don't have an incentive to lie to the customers and provide him bad quality of data. Basically, what all the competition do currently in the field of Web 2.
Okay, so this is where the Web3 parts come in for the project, because we've been hearing a lot about AI, but this is where the Web3 part comes in. I find it funny regarding what you said earlier, that it was supposed that the AI was supposed to be working for us, but from what I hear from you, we have people working for the AI, both providing data and checking if the data was good. So I find it a little funny regarding that way.
Exactly, that's called human in the loop. Basically, we are talking about Gen AI, we are talking about data augmentation, data generation, and so on, but we still need a strong, solid base to be able to augment that base and improve it, and that's really, really important to provide fresh human data, especially for that kind of artificial intelligence.
So, William, from what I can see actually in the industry, there's a huge competition for offering, let's say, a minimal service, like 85% trust with an automated system, with an AI. But when you add humans on top, you can go with the quality up to 95 or 99%. And I think this is the next gen solutions that will come in, because offering a basic service is available to everyone. You can have, let's say, free ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, or whatever. But having premium quality needs to have still humans involved, because the machines still need humans to understand humans.
Exactly, completely agree.
So why don't those companies just get this data online? Because there's thousands and millions of hours of podcasts and interviews and so on YouTube. So a lot of voice, there's a lot of images. Why do we need this kind of application and not just get it online already where all the data is?
So basically, two different type of answers. The first one is everything is not on the internet. So of course, for English common language for man, you can download it in a different way. But if, for example, I want to create a system specialized for people who are working in different industries with different kind of background noise, recorded by different kind of microphone, that's so specific that you have to record exactly on that environment. And better your data set for the training will be, closer to the reality, better will be your result. Also, that's really important that we cannot just take, for example, data from a YouTube video, for example. We also have to provide the labelization on it. So it's not only your voice, is your voice plus basically the subtitle. So we can imagine, and that's basically one of the tasks you will be able to do in Tada soon, is that from a voice recording, add the text. And that text is really important to train the artificial intelligence. Exactly, if I take another example, Tesla, for example, Tesla has to train its cars for the autonomous driving. And to do that, they have to use a lot of pictures and video from green light and red light to explain to the car when it have to stop and when it have to move forward. But based on that, it's not only the images, we have to provide the labelization. This is green or this is a red light.
So we've been talking about speech recognition, image and video labeling. What else is out there? What else are companies paying for to have humans parse, label, and let's say categorize data?
Lot of things.
I'm trying to understand where's the business of Tada, because if you want to make money, you need to sell that kind of service to other companies.
I will first of all explain you what we already have implemented, and after all the potential that we will have to implement it, because for the moment we only announce few customers, but we have a long pipeline and backlog, but it takes time to create the different kind of tasks. So as soon as we implement, for example, the speech recognition recording system, we can onboard all the speech recognition companies. But there is a lot of kind of data, basically. So basically, on the current beta version of the application, we have different tasks available: the speech recognition recording system, the quality check of any audio file, we have the labelization of images, we have the video capture. So for example, on that, I will make a small zoom on it. You know KYC and KYB for companies, especially in Web3. You know that a lot of persons try to scam it. And to do that, they created a system where you just have to take a video of you, kind of selfie, to check if you are or not a human. Right now, KYC and KYB companies use artificial intelligence to detect if the person is real or not. So we have currently on Tada a company that pay for different videos from your face into different angle. Also a video of your face with a mask, and different kind of variation to train the AI to detect a fraud, to train the AI to detect a real human, and so on. So currently, that's all what we have right now on the beta. And we still have a lot of demand in other fields, so different kind of pictures, a different kind of explanation, segmentation, as for example, CAPTCHA. You have to come in different website, and even some micro-tasking task, which is not only to get data. Basically, imagine that thanks to Tada, we can have access to a large population in the world and ask them, thanks to the smartphone, to do any kind of simple task. It's not only provide the data, but maybe it can be to provide a translation. It's not data directly, to provide an opinion, to follow a Twitter account. We can imagine a lot of things until it can be done through a smartphone and through a people directly.
So it's like an Uberization of data collection and data parsing.
Exactly. And I think that's really the good moment, because considering the artificial intelligence is moving really, really fastly, we thought that all the AI companies need data, and we saw that all the dinosaurs in the Web2 space of data collection got exactly the same problems. So what we see as customers, basically, that first of all, it's really, really expensive. I will come back to the field of speech recognition. When I worked for in that industry, we got some quotes from data providers that for example, for 1,000 of hours of Romanian language, it's thing like $100,000. It's really, really expensive. We saw that different problem on the market where a lot of data is currently provided from different countries, as India, for example, and users created different multiple accounts. I'm French, I'm Romanian, I'm Hindi, I'm English, I'm American, and so on, to be able to provide a lot of kind of data, and then bad quality of data. We saw that different companies sold data and told us, that's true, don't worry, we double check everything, the data set is really, really good, you can pay. But of course, if I want to sell you something, I will tell you that it's really good. Thanks to Tada, I can tell you the data is really, really good. 3 people at least check it. You can check on the blockchain directly. It's transparent. We can tell to a user, we didn't pay you for that data because 3 different checkers told you that there is background noise. You can check it on the blockchain directly. I think that we can really provide a revolution on that industry, thanks to the blockchain and a simple generic system, basically, by the way.
Okay, William, right now I would like, and people I think would like to know more of who is Tada. I mean, obviously you're one of the founders of this project, but who else is behind this project? How many people are there working for this company? Where is this company from? I guess French, but people would like to know that.
Tada was a part of Vivoca company. So Vivoca, it's a 45 people company based in France, provided speech recognition system worldwide, specializing in different industry, defense, and so on, because our system works without internet. When we saw that we needed data, we created Tada platform, and we created a dedicated department inside the company with different friends I have and associates from school and so on. So Florian Guichon, which was my chief operating officer in Vivoca, Valentine Touron, one of my my binôme in our school, and a team that I already know thanks to my network and the different companies that I handle in Web3 with my brother. So currently, Tada is 15 full-time person that work on that project since more than 2 years ago. But also a lot of external partners because we used to work with different agencies for specific topic. We have one of our main technical partners, which is Multiverse X, so X Elrond system. We was their last launchpad, so X Launchpad, and we build on that that ecosystem because we already knew the community. We already handle the technology through different other projects, and we know that we will have a solid base to build because Tada is basically a Web3 project, but with a Web2 mindset. So I already created different companies, and I know that that project will have to handle B2B strategy and B2C too, because we have in one hand to handle a lot of users, but also a lot of customers in the other hand to get enough job to make the system works. And based on that, it's not that easy to handle. We really think that we can move and do things as fast as possible, considering the timing on that market. So that's why it was really important for us to work with different agencies and technical partners as Multiversix to be able to move as fast as possible and be able to validate all the technical challenges we will face on.
Okay, so Tada is clearly part of the Multiversix with the token, but the project itself, I think it's not chain dependent, it's chain agnostic, right? I mean, does the project or the company or any other party involved care about what it uses?
Correct, exactly. So it's already on our roadmap, and we already communicated on that Tada will be cross-chain, because our aim will be to be able to onboard not only the Multiversix user in the ecosystem, but any kind of user in the blockchain field, but also and mainly, that will be the second step, any kind of user, even on the Web2 field. Because basically, even my parents, for example, has to be able to download Tada application and earn money by doing simple tasks because their mindset, their personality, their age, and so on will be useful for the app. And we have to do that worldwide. And the only way that can be a success for Tada is if our solution is, let's say, really user-friendly. So the technology has totally to disappear and be as simple as use, for example, Candy Crush.
Okay. But do I have to have a wallet and have all the friction that usually comes with Web3? For you, in your example, maybe those people are not so eager to use this new kind of tech and install an app, make a wallet, and so on.
So, of course, there will be different stage. The stage 1, and when we launch officially the application in a few weeks, of course, they will have to create a wallet. But in the next version, we can imagine the same where they just have to onboard themselves with a seamless system with email and password, for example, and even a world where for a person in Web2 field, imagine that for them, token is like a point. They can off-ramp it directly in dollars or euro, thanks to different technical partners. We have to move forward the simplicity for that. That will not be easy, of course, for compliance reasons and so on, but that's one of our main challenge if we want to scale really, really fastly. Also, I think it's quite important for me to provide you an example on how many transactions can be done in Tada. I took an example just before that for one order for one customer, 1,000 of hours can be the minimum to train an artificial intelligence in one language. When I read a sentence, it's feeling like 3 seconds. If I divided 1,000 hours by 3 seconds, it's 1.2 million of transactions. Imagine that 1.2 million of tasks has to be double check or triple check by 2 or 3 different checkers. 4 million of tasks only for one order for one customer. imagine the number of users and the number of transactions we will have to handle. That we have to find a way to spread the word and to democratize, I don't know if this was in English or not, all the system. And to do that, the system has to be as user-friendly as possible.
Okay, that's an impressive goal. I really would like to go through an example of how would it work for me as a data provider, because I'm not your client actually. If I download the app, so let's say a few weeks from now the app is live, yeah? I download the app, I create a wallet, and then I'd sign in with that wallet. But then I also need some token to start doing tasks, right? I cannot start doing tasks without a first deposit.
So that's why for the first users, we will try to find a system to onboard them without ask them to do an initial transaction to pay the deposit, because that can be a showstopper or real barrier, entry barrier for the user. We can imagine, for example, that we pay the deposit for them, or the first 10 tasks will be free, but they will do that only to get the first amount of deposit. And to be sure that they will not do anything they want, we can imagine that for that dedicated tasks, we can use 10 or 12 checkers for each task to be sure that that data will be properly done. Also, I think we can imagine propose free small amount of token for people that will totally do the onboarding with a lot of information about them, their interest, ages, and more information that can provide for the application. Better will be our understanding, better will be our choose when we will spread the task, and then we can pay for them the first deposit.
So if I download the app, do I have these two options to become a data provider and to become a checker, or are checker just some closed?
In your point of view as a user, it's just a task. Providing data is a read a sentence. Double check is a task when you have to listen something and write. Take a picture and so on. The data checking is just a simple task, but as a user, for you, it's exactly the same. You can, of course, select what you want to do. For example, if there is a lot of people and background noise, you can select only labelization of images if you want. So you can select depending on your mood, depending on what you want, and depending on what you can provide, depending on your skills, even if our filters can be improved, of course. Everything is totally customizable by the user.
Okay, so if me as a user, I give out the wrong data, the data that is not valid, and the checker sees that and it just says, okay, this data is not okay, I get slashed, my first deposit gets slashed. But what happens if the checker says that my data is okay, but it wasn't?
So if only one checker says your data is okay, but it wasn't, normally the other checkers has to say that the data is not okay. If you provide what you think is a good data and all the checkers confirm that is a good data, and if finally it's not, two different possibilities. The first one, if everyone tells it's good, I think it will be good for the company. If not, that means that the company didn't provide the good questions or quality check process, depending on what they want. If, for example, they only want to check the background noise and not the accent, even if the accent is not good, it's not our problem. That's also why basically Tada is quite interesting for companies, because they can start with a few amount of data, let's say the field of speech recognition, 1 hour, get the result back, double check it, and if the result is good enough, they can order more hours of data. If not, we can adapt the quality check process with them. And that's really important, first of all, for them, because if they are happy, they will provide us a new order. And also in our side, considering we currently are under beta, we still have to improve different things, especially the quality check system.
That's what my next question was going to be. What did you find during this alpha and beta phases of the app? What were the hardest parts that you had to improve? And you said that you had already some companies working with you, buying that data from you. What was the actual number of companies that you served during the beta, and what do you expect for the live app, for the official launch?
I think for the moment, officially announce and onboard 5 or 6 companies. So we have a backlog, but we are waiting for the first one to move forward with the other one. Challenge, it's not that easy because we have different kind of challenges. We have first of all, during the first and second part of the alpha and beta, we have to double check all the quality system. Is for example, at the first stage, we had only one data producer and one checker. But that make no sense, because if the checker say is good, that means the data is approved, and then the checker can only click good. So that's not good enough. So maybe 2, 3, or 4. How can be the good numbers for what level of quality? Because of course we can imagine that 99 checkers can build the good numbers, but it can be really expensive for only 0.00001 of improvement. So we have to handle and think what can be the best case. If we have to ask the customers what kind of level and quality they want, if we have to choose ourselves, and so on. We had some really technical challenge to handle millions of transactions at the same time, worldwide, without latency, without concurrency access, different users on the same task. We have to handle all the user behavior. We have to handle the pricing system. If I, as a user, data providers, I will tell you that task can bring you 10 Tada, but you have to provide 20 Tada deposit. That makes no sense. But if it's only 0.1 Tada deposit, you can just say, okay, I don't worry about the deposit and just click yes. So all of that, it's a mix between mathematics, psychology, and so on. So we are currently continue to test it, and we have to improve it a lot. Also, we created a system of energy to try to include gamification, because honestly, the different tasks are not, it's not really fun to read a sentence, to make a translation, to take a picture. You can do it during 5 minutes, but if you want to do that during 1 hour, it's a bit exhausted. So we created a ranking system when you have different energy. As soon as you don't have energy, you have to wait until, for example, you provide a really good enough quality level during the 5 last hours, and you can earn more energy. And we are creating basically all a gamification system to try to attract people, to try to be focused on the quality, because I know that if they provide the wrong quality, they will not only just lose the deposit, but maybe they will be able to lose some place on the ranking system. And all of that is really not easy, and of course to make some priority on our development.
It's a lot of information, and I really appreciate how crowdsourcing solves this problem, because you're actually moving the processing where the, let's say, the work is cheap enough, but also focusing on good enough quality so you have a good outcome. Because outsourcing this to, let's say, engineers and developers in Silicon Valley would be very expensive. But distributing this on a global on a global stage, you can have talent anywhere. What I was thinking about while you were talking is that you might just as well double the number of transactions on the Multiverse X blockchain just by bringing your ecosystem on this blockchain, because you have a lot of transactions happening every single day. So if I saw correctly, it's more than 250,000 transactions a day. Is that right?
On Multiverse X, you mean? Honestly, I don't know.
No, on Tada.
It depends on the days, and it depends on our tests. So to provide you an example, when we start working with the energy system, for a few days, we provide free energy of the users, and we had for some users a lot of transaction in one day, so we reach really a high level of score in terms of transaction. But our aim, depending on the needs of the customers, is to provide the right balance between provide enough job for everyone in one day, but also provide the data as quick as possible. So it's not that easy, and we are currently working on that. So for the moment, everything is not on the blockchain because we are under the beta version of the system. On the second step, we will do kind of bundle system, mainly for the price, because until we have our own instance of blockchain, even if each transaction is not that expensive on Multiversix, but few millions multiplied by 1 or 2 cents, that can be expensive. Also for security reason, imagine that you are a developer, so you know very well how blockchain works and so on, and you only provide quality check tasks. You can maybe just look on the blockchain, look the data providers, wait for the answer on the other data checkers, and just provide exactly the same answer without listen the audio file and provide the data. So that's why we will get the information from the different data checkers and then release information on the blockchain. So we have also to handle all that breach of security that our system have before be able to release everything. And mainly take care about the latency for the user. Because as a Web3 people, we know that every transaction can take a few seconds, but to provide the user-friendly services to Web2 users, it has to be really, really fluid and quick as a transaction. It's not that easy to handle on because of the blockchain.
Basically, blockchain here is to distribute energy in the, let's say, whatever that is, because energy can be also value, money, that you get from your clients that need data processing to the crowd, do it in a distributed way, transparent way, also with all the, let's say, all the stages of verification, also to don't have scams, to have good quality data and all that. And this is where the blockchain comes in. But the blockchain is not necessarily the main thing of the app. The main thing is actually having real customers in the real world, let's say, doing real business. And blockchain is just an enabler, it's just a tool to enable all that. So people can understand this is not just another blockchain project. It's the next level is using blockchain as it should be, just a proper tool to do things in a smarter way.
Exactly, totally agree. We use blockchain for the value blockchain can bring to a project. But initially with Tada, we are trying to solve a real pain point for a real business. And when we start, of course, our aim will be to bring value to AI companies. But on the second step, we can even imagine that Tada can solve problem. So the community can solve problem from the community itself. We can imagine that as a user, I have some needs and I will pay to put a task on Tada, and other users in the community will help me to answer that. Artificial intelligence and data collection and labelization, I think is just the first step in the complete world of micro-tasking, because basically it's micro-tasking environment. But totally agree with you, blockchain is a tool for us. It's the tool that will be able to provide the different values that all the Web2 company provide currently. But for us, it's just a technology we are based on because that's the best way to do things in that field.
Did I hear it correctly? Do you plan to have your own blockchain or maybe layer or maybe a sovereign chain?
Exactly. So we knew that Multiversix released a sovereign chain system for different reasons about sovereignty, about transaction fee. We can imagine that Tada token will be used for the gas fees and for different technical reasons that really make sense for us to develop our own instance of blockchain. Of course, it will be in our roadmap in long term because first of all, I'm come from the Web2 field, so I need to secure customers to prove that the value we bring is correct, to prove that the offer makes sense for the customers, and then we will improve it. So I don't want to do like other project did, start by only the blockchain thing and after try to find the use case. So I really would like to focus on the use case directly and then try to improve it. But definitely that really makes sense for us.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the roadmap if we went into that. You obviously had the launchpad; it was quite successful. Then the next thing on the roadmap, it's supposed to be the app release, showing that it's going to be in the Q2 in the second trimester of 2024. Also items. What is items supposed to be on Q2?
Yes, I don't know if we will release it on Q2 or just after the official release, but basically we will add different items inside the gamification side of the app. So we can imagine that as a user, if you provide a really good job, high level of a quality job, and you connect to the app in a high frequency, we can imagine that you can loot something that can allow you to refill your energy, for example. And that can be used. We imagine different ecosystems. That's also why we release Tada, which is our mascot and figure on the app directly. So different things will be linked to that directly to let the user to come to a complete environment and ecosystem where every task can be one way to evolve on that ecosystem, to try to be focused not only on the complicated things, to do tasks and exhausting parts, but also to add all the gamification and fun aspects for the community.
Okay, same as I guess is the league and the faction and the guild. So these are all like features for the app in the community and gamification part. So I guess the most important plan for the year is the official launch of the app. Coming when should it arrive?
So it's still for end of Q2, end of June, probably. Basically, it will depend on two different things. We cannot be 100% sure. The first one is, as every technical product, we will do a lot of security and audit tests. And depending on the report of audit, if we have to take time to fix a lot of things, we have to take this time. And the second part will be when you have final application, you have to send it to Apple and Google directly for a review. And if the review will be good, you will be able to send it to the store directly. If not, you have to discuss with them with different lot of back and forth, improvement, and considering blockchain and cryptos, I don't really like it. So we cannot be 100% sure of the final timing, but normally that can be happen in end of June. And of course, in parallel, we'll continue to release features on the beta. And of course, add the competition, social, and so on in the application will be really interesting and useful for the user itself.
How do people go into beta? They just go on the website and click the button to join the waitlist?
Yes.
Is everyone accepted? How does it work?
Unfortunately, no, because under a beta, we have a maximum limit of users we can onboard because of test fly system and so on. We almost reached that limit. So that's why you can come on the website and click on join the beta. You will have to fill a form with different information about yourself. And sometimes we whitelist some people depending on different internal criteria. You saw that we started our country's expansion. So 3 weeks ago, we announced that Tada is available in Turkey. So everything is translated in Turkey, and then we needed different Turkish people to test it. So I think we accepted things like more than 2,000 of people. So we keep some slot for dedicated people. Right now we are opening Romania too, even if we already have a base of community thanks to Multiverse 6. But right now everything is available in a Romanian language. But unfortunately, we cannot accept all the users, but just some, until we will be able to release the last version of the application.
But anyway, some Romanian people listening to this podcast might have a chance if they just go to the website and click the button, right? Because sure. I guess same as when you enter Turkey, you now need some users from Romania. What are the actual plans for Romania? Why did you choose Romania for expansion? Do you see potential in here?
Yeah, for different reasons, basically, and that's how we select different countries. That can be for technical reasons, that can be for the community, that can be for the ecosystem, and so on. For Romania especially, so of course we have a strong partnership with Multiverse 6. That's why a lot of Romanian users help us a lot on our community. That makes sense for us to provide them the good translation and ecosystem, to provide to them early stage access to the beta version of the app. We also know that in Romania, users on different ecosystem has a real appetence for innovation, especially for Web3. So when they really trust a project, they can provide a lot of feedbacks, and they are really involved in that project. And considering we are French in Europe and Romania and so on, it's quite close. That really made sense for us to try to open Romanian as soon as possible. So that's why we selected Romania as a second country.
And what's next? Which countries comes next? Maybe we have international viewers learning about Tada. Do you have any plans for the future?
We have plans. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose the next one. I can tell you that it will be another country in Europe.
Okay.
And mainly because for the moment, it's not for us the good timing to open country, for example, in Asia, because Asia market is quite important for us. But for technical reasons, we have first of all to release our complete network infrastructure because of latency and so on, before be able to open the access to far countries. But maybe the next one can be an Asia country, but the next one will be in Europe.
Well, I think we understood most of the use cases, we understood how it works, and now it's time for the hard part of this interview. William, if you allow me, we are in Web3, so it obviously comes with a token, and people care about the token. So tell us your pitch deck for the token. Why did you need a token? I mean, you already explained us, but let's just do a little summarize again. Why did you need a token, and what's the plan for this token?
Okay, so basically I already explained how useful is the blockchain on our ecosystem. This blockchain is based on the Tada token, and the Tada token is basically used for everything in our ecosystem. First of all, as you understood, everything is based on micropayments. So if I take all the way from the customer to the user, when a customer provides us money, we directly do a buyback of the token on the market. Based on that, one part is burned, 5%, one part will be sent to the staker, because even our staking system will be totally sustainable. One part is the margin of the company, and the last part, and larger one, will be sent to the community, both data producers and data checkers. So that's for the payment system. Then as a user, when you receive the token, you have different possibility. Of course, if you want to stake it, you can stake it, but you can off-ramp it, or you can directly reuse the token inside the app for different mechanism to get more energy, to access to different features or tasks on the ecosystem before other users, and to be able to access to different things. We didn't communicate about it right now, but we will release it normally this year, step by step. And also for us, there is no better solution that to issue a token, to raise, to engage, and to create a community as fast as possible, because the main challenge for us is not to find the customer. So the need is really, really huge, and there is different kind of use cases. But to be able to be sure that we will propose a good quality of data, we need a lot of customers in a really short time. I don't know currently a better solution that we issue a token to raise a community, that kind of community. And that really makes sense for both parts, the company itself, the customer directly, thanks to the blockchain, and the user itself. And as soon as I will come to Tada, and of course, as soon as they will provide a high quality of job, better they will be for us. And thanks to all of that ecosystem, we will really be able to create a fair value for the user, the company, and the customers.
How do you address the inflation of the token? Because from what I've been seeing on the tokenomics page, in the first few years, there's pretty big inflation coming from supply almost at 50 million at token generation event in the first month. It's going to end the first year at 350 million tokens. Isn't that too much of inflation for the first year? How is it going to be handled?
It's not that easy. It's always questions about balance from the different stakeholders. We work with a company specialized on that, named Nomics. But what I learned is basically we didn't see a really perfect system. So it's every time about choices. I strongly believe that the tokenomics we built make really sense for the users and for the customers. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, I will be able to tell you if I had to create a new Tada again, maybe I will change that part on that part. But we try to be as fair as possible for the investors, for the user, for the community, for the stakers, and so on. I strongly believe that our business model is sustainable, and even our staking system is a part of our margin. Considering there is a fixed supply of Tada token, 1 billion. Each time the company do business, each time token are burned, and each time the potential of Tada is moving and the price of the token should be moved forward. It's quite complicated for us to, of course, if tomorrow 1 billion of person buys the Tada token, the price will pump and then it will dump because it's the law of the market. But on the long term, that model is sustainable. And I think that's the most important for a long-term vision.
You had, as we said, a pretty successful, one of the most successful launches in the past few years in the Multiverse X Launchpad, and I'll congratulate you for that. How did things move on from that launchpad? Because, of course, there was a lot of hype around the token back then. How do you think community looks at the token right now? And what would you address them regarding that?
So I think there is 2 different parts, the real community that help Tada and the investors that will only look after the token. For the community itself, so we have strong core community that help, and what I'm really careful about is to see their feedback about the app. My aim will be to be sure that when we will launch the official app, when we will open the door to all the users, that we will be really ready. Because that will be only at that time that everything will make sense for the customers, for the token itself, for the investors, and so on. Currently, I prefer, if I have to postpone the launch, even if the token will dump a bit, it's not important at that time. It's only a short-term position. If I have to provide an answer for the people that about the token itself right now, we do really good launch, and to be totally transparent, above my expectation, and I already communicate about that. I preferred do maybe a simple launch and move step by step. But as soon as you have a token on the market decides itself if I want to buy or sell. But right now, except for investors, there is no utility for users to buy the token. So that makes sense that the token will not move up as soon as we will be able to open the door and launch officially the application. Considering we almost raise the maximum of users we'll be able to onboard on the beta, we can not do any magic thing, and I prefer to stay focused on the business and the launch. But the really important KPI for me will be the number of transactions and everything as soon as we will release the application on the market. So instead of like a lot of and even advisors, we work in Tada for more than 2 years, but we only start the communication 6 months before. That's why we take time to do things at the Web 2 mindset, step by step. And the token, for us, is basically a tool that how everything works inside the system. That's not the finality. We think that our business model, if the Tada company will be a success on the market, the token will be a success and the price will move up. If we'll not be able to raise enough users, if we'll not be able to sign customers, the price of the token will go back, and that's exactly the same thing for a share of any companies on the NASDAQ, for example. That's my philosophy and my vision. So I'm not worried about at all.
I gotta say, I appreciate the transparency and the honesty coming from that answer. We don't always get this kind of answers, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure people will see that. I think we understood how things are right now, and I think people also realize that the launch of Tada token was during the AI hype on the entire market. So, as you said, that might have looked like a huge success at the start, but of course, maybe it was too much hype of a start, and sometimes it's just the law of the market, as you said. Well, I got my answers regarding the token. If George, if you have anything else that you would like to understand.
William, I'm going to go a little bit, let's say, crazy for the final part of our conversation. So we just had our Curiosity Summit a few days ago. And at the end of our presentation about artificial intelligence and large language models, we had a bit about a company that was giving AI agents the possibility to hire humans to do actions that are unavailable, inaccessible to artificial intelligence. So as we know, large language models, AIs, cannot have a bank account, don't yet have citizenship, although we have some robots that have, let's say, citizenship in Dubai or some parts of the world. The question is, could an AI agent use Tada in the future to microtask humans to do stuff that an AI cannot do now?
If AI agent can pay, yeah, why not? I think it's possible, and maybe it will make sense in the future. I had an interesting discussion with one of our advisors, the founder, the creator of Siri, Luc Julia, work with us too, about if the global questions, artificial intelligence will be or not able to replace human. And I definitely think that for us, for human, artificial intelligence will be a tool, and that don't make sense to try to avoid it. We have to use it for all the good thing AI can provide. And if we can earn time, if we can get some value by let artificial intelligence ask people to do microtasks, maybe that can make sense. Why not?
I got my answer right there. I'm really looking forward to seeing the app in action. So again, second quarter of this year, Tada officially open to everyone, not only in beta. And from the blockchain part, I got everything we needed so far. I'm really excited about the future of the project. I can see the useful part of it, the exciting part of it. And one thing that I appreciate is that it's got technological hype, but not crypto hype to it. And that's a good thing. That's very healthy to it, because it's very good on the technology side. It uses blockchain and crypto as a tool. And maybe this can be the real hype of any technology coming to the blockchain, because if you have real world application, although real world is artificial intelligence these days, why not? So again, William, thank you for taking the time. I want to thank Andrei for the questions.
I need to add one more thing, because I know that people watching us are not only investors, there's also technical people, there's developers and so on. So I think that your app and your goals require a lot of manpower, a lot of people working behind the closed doors. So I think you have also positions open. So if you can tell us about what type of developers you're looking for and what type of jobs you're actually hiring right now, because I've seen that tab on the
Thank you very much for that point. A lot of people. So first of all, as I explained, I'm not from the Web2 world, Web3 world, sorry. So we need a head of communication that can help us on the Web3 communication mainly, because we don't have all the code and the track record to do that. We need a lot of kind of developers, backend and front-end too. And I know that we have some sales open position too, worldwide sales people.
So if anyone is interested, they can just go on the website and see for themselves. Thank you, William.
Thank you very much.
So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you again, William from Tada. I hope you got all the information you were looking for about this project, also about the tokenomics and whatnot. But again, as we always say, this is not financial advice. This is just a bit of your own education. Do your own research and make your own decisions based on information that we can actually get from the founders and the more technical people inside this project. This is why we do this series. And again, we want to thank you for following us and sharing this content with your friends. and maybe your partners, and who could also have some benefit out of this interesting idea. Again, I want to thank Andrei, and thank you, William. Thank you, everyone. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next one. Bye.